And so, the day has finally come. I finally got my hands on 5 of the best true wireless buds on the market. It's been quite the journey being able to test all of these out, but I'm finally ready to deliver on my final review. So, Razer versus Google versus Apple versus Samsung versus Microsoft. Who makes the best pair of true wireless buds? Let's go ahead and find out. Remember that I've also made individual reviews for each pair, so if you're interested in checking out a more detailed analysis on a specific pair, then I will be making sure to leave links to every review below. Also, if you find this video useful, feel free to share it with others, as it might actually help others make a decision too. So with that said, let's get into the video. Let's talk about the exterior design overall. So, for the sake of keeping this video as short as possible, because I know it's going to be a long one either way, I will mostly gloss over everything and give you all a general conclusion for every category. So, Razer Hammerheads True Wireless have a matte texture to them that feels pretty solid with a touch-sensitive surface on top, and they look and fit almost identically to Apple's normal AirPods too, but they're black and look nicer in my opinion. Apple's AirPods Pro are made of this glossy plastic that feels sturdy, and they have a stem with a touch-sensitive surface in a sense, and feature true ear tips, I guess I would say, and they're tiny and rounded, and it's kind of a lot like Samsung's own pair of buds, and they have an ear hook with replacement tips too, while feeling just as solid, I would say, and the white color of both looks pretty classy. And the Pixel Buds, on the other hand, while also having a touch-sensitive surface, it's a matte texture with rubber around the intersection. They also feature an ear hook, which is actually quite nice. These and the Galaxy Buds are the closest ones in terms of size and design, I would say. And the Surface Buds are immediately recognizable and look like gauges. I will continue to say that because it is just true. And they're massive and look sleek though, but they don't look very appealing in my opinion. They're built incredibly well for sure, though, and they feature a higher quality glossy plastic on top with thick rubber for the tip itself. And it actually kind of feels like glass on top, so they just feel like a very premium pair of earbuds, no doubt. So, in terms of design, my preference is towards the Pixel Buds. I think that they look better than the rest, in my opinion, and they have an ear hook too that is very stealthy, and they still look very nice and modern. And it's good stuff here. And second place goes to the AirPods Pro for their unique design. Third place goes to the Razer Hammerhead True Wireless for their looks, though technically AirPods clones. That is worth keeping into consideration. And fifth place goes to the Galaxy Buds Plus for their stylish design, but still not the most appealing. And last place is just going to have to go to the Microsoft Surface Buds. So yeah, that is going to be for obvious reasons. Let's compare their cases now. The Razer Hammerheads True Wireless have this really cheap plastic build for the case. It's flimsy, the magnets kind of suck, though they do feature a USB-C port with no wireless charging. The AirPods Pro has a great build for the case, even if it's very prone to scratches. They're hefty with this glossy plastic and secure magnets, and they do feature wireless charging, but they don't charge through USB-C, only through Lightning, which is unfortunate. The case is stylish though, so that is worth keeping into consideration, and it is built well even though the micro scratches will begin to show after some time. And the Galaxy Buds Plus have a similar case, but they lack a little more heft, and the magnets kind of suck here too. It feels like the buds are easy to wobble around inside, which isn't my favorite thing, but they do feature wireless charging and charge through USB-C, which is pretty cool, so that is worth noting. And the Pixel Buds have a very nice matte textured case that is hefty and has a very powerful set of magnets with a satisfying opening and enclosure. They also feature wireless charging and charge through USB-C. And I did neglect to mention that they did have wireless charging in my full review, so if you do come across my full review, I made a mistake. I didn't know that they didn't have them until a little bit after, so do keep that in mind. They do indeed feature wireless charging. Now, the Microsoft Surface Buds also have a great case, which is very stylish, charged through USB-C, and this satisfying opening mechanism due to the hinge and the wonderful magnets, but they do not support wireless charging. So the number one spot goes to the Pixel Buds because they have the best built case in my opinion, no doubt, with the most features too, and the USB-C port, which is worth noting. Second place goes to the Microsoft Surface Buds, thanks to its great design, USB-C port, and awesome magnets. Third place goes to the AirPods Pro for having a fantastic build, wireless charging, great magnets, but a lightning connection instead of USB-C. Fourth place goes to the Galaxy Buds Plus because of the weak magnets and the lack of heft on the case, I would say, while the Hammerheads definitely get last place for having the crappiest charging case I have ever had the displeasure of using. That's just my honest opinion there. And now as for comfort. This is a much tougher contest. Here, there will be a hierarchy, but one pair is just a little bit more comfortable than the one coming before it, so keep that in mind. They're all great and very comfortable, it's just that it's going to be a close competition and I do have to pick favorites. The Razer Hammerheads have an amazing fit that doesn't deal with any ear tips, so they just sit naturally in my ears, period. No issues there. The AirPods Pro have a strange rounded shape that, in comparison to the rest, doesn't fit so well in terms of comfort in my opinion. So the tips get a little bit uncomfortable after some time, and reaching the stem for gestures is a bit of a chore too. These fall off my ears rather often with the more I use them too, so there's that. And the Google Pixel Buds are very comfortable and don't fall off my ears too often, but in spite of the ear hook and all, they still fall off sometimes, even if they almost stay on. At the very least, they mostly stay on. The Galaxy Buds Plus do a better job at staying in my ears because they're slightly smaller, a little lighter, have a better designed ear hook in my opinion. They rarely ever fall off, and not to mention that you can customize the size of the ear tip and the ear hook itself, so you will find a good fit for yourself. I think that they fit awesome. And the Surface Buds, however, in spite of their ridiculous size, have never fallen off my ears. They are very comfortable to wear for a long period of time even, and it's thanks to thick rubber around the ear tip portion itself that just makes them sit in your ears really well for a long time. Seriously, I was genuinely surprised with that feat. So the first place goes to the Razer Hammerheads True Wireless because this design has always worked best for me. And the second place goes to the Surface Buds thanks to its amazing comfort and textures, in spite of their size. Third place goes to the Galaxy Buds Plus for being so easy to wear for a long period of time, for a very good while. Fourth place goes to the Pixel Buds since it does fall off my ears every now and then. And last place goes to the AirPods Pro since their fit is a little bit awkward for me and fall off my ears more frequently than any other pair that I mentioned so far. But as for features, this becomes an easier competition since they are quite different here. The Razer Hammerheads True Wireless Buds. They do feature a touch-sensitive surface that rarely ever works and have a low latency mode for gaming. That's pretty much it. The AirPods Pro offer active noise cancellation, ambient noise, full gesture controls for pretty much everything you would need, and they even have ear detection, so if you take one earbud off, music will actually stop, and if you put it back on, music will continue to play. And I do appreciate that quite a bit. And the Pixel Buds have pretty much everything I mentioned above about the AirPods Pro, except for noise cancellation and ambient noise. They do lack those features, but they do have great noise isolation either way. However, gestures are much nicer to use here, and that is going to be thanks to the touch-sensitive surface instead of just squeezing the stem for anything, rather than a cumbersome stem overall. I just prefer this method much more. I think it's way better. Now, when it comes to the Samsung Galaxy Buds Plus, they also do have a touch-sensitive surface, and the gestures work very well, but you've got very few gestures available to you. Just pausing, track skipping, and it pretty much stops there for the most part, so that kind of sucks. And the Surface Buds have the best implementation of gestures, with you being able to do quite a lot of swiping around in obvious ways and directions, and feature a lot of them along with amazing passive noise isolation. So it's just going to be swiping up and down for volume controls, backwards and forwards for things like skipping tracks and that sort of thing. It's just the gestures make the most sense how they're activated here. But because this is a comparison of features, I have to say that just in terms of the best well-rounded package, you're going to get the AirPods Pro. They're just going to take first place here. They have pretty much everything, and it is difficult to argue with that. Google Pixel Buds are a close second because of the inclusion of everything except noise cancellation and ambient noise. The Surface Buds are next with their fantastic implementation for gestures and an accurate use case as well. Those gestures never fail when it comes to their use. Fourth place are the Galaxy Buds because they lack a lot of important gestures like native volume controls, and Razer gets last place for having non-functioning gestures, and it rarely used low latency mode, so yeah, it's just not really quite as useful for me since I don't do a lot of mobile gaming. And now, let's go ahead and talk about the sound quality. This is going to be the most important part of this section, obviously, since these are audio devices after all. These all sound great, without a doubt, so it is tough to actually pick a winner for the contest, but I can choose a winner here. And it is just going to be, again, probably just an order of best to worst, even if they all sound great, taking into consideration their price tags as well, so I will go into that soon. The Razer Hammerhead True Wireless have good bass, though they have a narrow soundstage, so while they sound good, they pale in comparison to the rest of the competition. I think that it's okay to say that. AirPods Pro have a great soundstage, great bass, and obviously fantastic noise cancellation. They sound great no matter what you're listening to. Hands down, I haven't had any issues when it comes to the sound quality of the AirPods Pro. And the Pixel Buds also sound great, but the bass gets a little bit muddy, though with most genres they sound pretty awesome. They're better with bass-heavy music, but if you like metal, like I do, I'm a bit of a snob there, they might muddy things up just a little bit for you. They do, however, offer great noise isolation also. Now the Galaxy Buds sound pretty great, and they're going to sound better than the Pixel Buds. Spoiler alert, I think that they have nice bass, a decent soundstage, and overall they offer a great listening experience with just about anything. You also get noise isolation, which is nice. You're going to get that pretty much with every pair here, except for the Razer Hammerheads. Lastly, on the Microsoft Surface Buds end, they offer a fantastic seal, even if it's passive noise isolation. It works too well, and they offer a great soundstage. They get quite loud and offer the most pleasant amount of bass, in my opinion. They sound very good, and if you watch my full review, you're gonna watch me rave all about that. Honestly, the Microsoft Surface Buds take the win here. They sound a little bit better than AirPods Pro, which take the second place spot. This is a very close contest. I think that is worth noting. Again, and the Galaxy Buds takes a more distant third place, with the Pixel Buds just slightly behind these, and the last place goes to Razer. Again, these all sound great in my opinion in their own right, but the hierarchy speaks for the differences in quality, and that is all that it's meant to address. And the last contest has to do with battery life. This will go into total playtime, including from the charge that you would get from each case as well. So let's go ahead and begin. The Razer Hammerheads True Wireless have an average of around 4 hours, and the case adds an additional 14 hours or so that's a total of around 18 hours. The AirPods Pro offer 5 hours on one charge, though with noise cancellation active it becomes 3 hours, along with an additional 24 hours from the charge case, around so that becomes a total of around 29 hours. Pixel Buds offer around 5 hours of battery life, and the case offers an additional 24 hours or so, giving you a total of around 29 hours again. Now the Galaxy Buds Plus have 11 hours of battery life. Sick, right? But the case gives you an additional 11 hours, which makes these total up to 22 hours, which is also kind of weird, but hey, it's a pretty interesting split, if that's what you prefer. Now, the Surface Buds offer around 5 hours as well from my testing of battery life on a full charge, along with an additional 19 hours from the case, which totals up to around 24 hours. Because the AirPods Pro have the ability of actually going down in terms of its number when it comes to the battery life, from let's say the 29 hours to around minus 15 or so, or like 10 hours if you're using them each full charge with noise cancellation, the battery life does drop significantly, so I would like to say that the Pixel Buds do take first place. However, the AirPods Pro do take a very close second place on there because of what I mentioned. The Surface Buds take third place due to its numbers, Galaxy Buds again due to its numbers take fourth place, and the Razer comes in last place. For obvious reasons, it just got the lowest rating when it came to its battery life. So in conclusion, if you're on iPhone, then just get the AirPods Pro. It only makes the most sense. But if you're on Android, then things become much more complicated. If you were looking at AirPods Pro for the noise cancellation, just get the Surface Buds. if you don't care for the look. They sound incredible, and they offer too good of a seal without compromising a battery life with active noise cancellation like AirPods Pro does. And I truly do mean it. If battery life is a priority, then get the Pixel Buds or AirPods Pro because they have great battery life and sound fantastic. If you're looking to save some money, then the Razer Hammerheads True Wireless offer a lot for $100, and the Galaxy Buds Plus offer a higher quality of exactly that with better gestures, with better battery life at $150, which is also still very much worth it for what you get. I think that Razer has the most comfortable offering, but Microsoft has the best sounding offer. However, if I could only choose one pair, my favorite pair has to be the Google Pixel Buds. They look great, they're built nicely, they have all of these features that I absolutely love. They fit nicely too, even if it's not a perfect fit, but I probably just need to mess around with the fit a little bit more. And they're priced very well too. And not to mention that they come with the nicest case of the entire selection, in my opinion. They are just the most well-rounded pair here without any overwhelming weaknesses. Take everything I mentioned in this video and make your choice based off of it all. Hopefully this is all helpful. And now, if you're interested in any individual reviews for all of these, just as I mentioned at the start of the video, all of these reviews are going to be available down in the description, along with any one versus one comparisons that I may have made along the way. I will be leaving those linked below if you're interested in just a full analysis of those versus just me glossing over everything. In order to come up with a proper comparison for 5 different earbuds, it'll be a lot more concise that way. So if that's something you would prefer, I'll leave links to those below as well. And also, if you're interested in buying any of these buds and this video was enough for you, then I will be making sure to leave affiliate links for everything down in the description, as well as links to LUSTRE, which is a brand new service that allows you to look for different types of purchase alternatives and even find some sales in regards to any of these buds across the web. It's just a more condensed way of looking for everything, and I highly suggest that you look for them. That's also going to be affiliated, so if you use any of those links, then I do get a small commission that does help me run things just a little bit more smoothly around here. So if you were to use those, I would appreciate that quite a bit. And also, if you like me enough, then do make sure to follow me on Twitch, where I like to stream, usually on Fridays and Saturdays. And it's usually pretty late at night because I do like to be able to actually help you guys be able to fall asleep through the sweet sound of jazz and Final Fantasy XIV. So if that is something that interests you, and if you would like to talk to me down there, then do make sure to follow the links down in the description. I'd be happy to see you over there. Also, do not forget to follow me on both Twitter and Instagram for the latest and greatest in regards to the Tech Summit endeavors. So with that said, this has been Francisco from Tech Summit. Thank you for watching, and I will be seeing you all later. Enjoy!